safety and technology. When it comes to a warship like the USS Washington, raw power is only part of the story. Battleships of old were often defined by their guns and armor, but in the modern era, survival is just as much about information, awareness, and the ability to respond to threats instantly. Safety and technology are the invisible shields that make the Washington not just formidable, but nearly untouchable. Step inside the Washington's command network, and you enter what feels more like the nerve center of a space station than a naval vessel. Here lies the latest generation of the Aegis combat system, an integrated network of sensors, radars, and weapon controls that can track and engage hundreds of targets at once. It is the ship's brain processing vast amounts of data from satellites, drones, aircraft, and onboard sensors, then translating that information into clear, actionable decisions. For the crew, that means greater clarity in the fog of war, faster reaction times, and fewer chances for error. At the core of this system are the radar arrays. Unlike the rotating dishes of earlier warships, the Washington uses a series of fixed, phased array panels embedded directly into its superstructure. These panels emit thousands of tiny beams, sweeping the skies and seas with incredible precision. They can detect stealth aircraft, hypersonic missiles, and even small drones operating at low altitudes. The Washington can see farther, clearer, and more accurately than most ships afloat today. Beneath the waves, the story continues. The sonar systems fitted to the Washington are not just standard hull-mounted arrays. They include a towed sonar line that can be deployed miles behind the ship, listening for the faintest echoes of submarines. Combined with AI-driven sound analysis, the system can distinguish between natural noise, civilian vessels, and hostile submarines with eerie accuracy. This layered detection network gives the Washington a three-dimensional picture of its environment: air, surface, and subsurface, all monitored simultaneously. But safety is not just about detecting threats. It is about neutralizing them before they can cause harm. And here, the Washington's technology excels. We've already spoken of its lasers, which provide point defense against incoming projectiles. But layered on top of that is a comprehensive missile defense system. The ship carries interceptors designed to engage incoming ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, and aircraft at different ranges. Some intercept high above the atmosphere, others strike closer to the surface. The result is a protective bubble, a shield that extends around the Washington and any fleet operating nearby. For Allied ships sailing alongside it, the Washington acts as both a sword and a shield, projecting power outward while protecting those within its reach. Electronic warfare is another domain where the Washington shines. Modern battles are not fought with weapons alone. They are fought with signals, jamming radars, scrambling communications, and blinding sensors. The Washington is equipped with a state-of-the-art electronic warfare suite capable of disrupting enemy targeting systems, deceiving hostile radars, and protecting itself from guided munitions. It can project false images, mask its true position, or flood the spectrum with noise to render enemy electronics useless. In a battlefield where information dominance decides victory, this invisible weapon is as critical as any gun or missile. Of course, one of the greatest vulnerabilities of any modern warship is not physical, but digital. Cyber warfare has become a central battlefield of its own, and the Washington has been hardened against it. Its networks are encrypted with quantum-resistant algorithms, making interception and decryption practically impossible with current technology. Firewalls, intrusion detection systems, and adaptive AI monitors patrol its systems constantly, ready to isolate and counter threats. Even if an enemy attempted to hack into the Washington's controls, they would find themselves lost in a labyrinth of decoys and defenses, with the ship's AI working tirelessly to repel them. And speaking of AI, the Washington has been designed to leverage artificial intelligence across nearly every system. AI assists in target identification, separating friend from foe in crowded battle spaces. It predicts the trajectories of incoming projectiles, calculates the most efficient intercept solutions, and even manages the flow of power across the ship's grid. By taking on the workload of data crunching and split-second analysis, AI frees the human crew to focus on strategy and command. But make no mistake, the Washington is not an autonomous ship. It remains firmly under human control, with AI acting as an assistant, not a replacement. Crew safety is also central to the Washington's design. For decades, life aboard battleships was notoriously harsh, cramped quarters, limited privacy, and long deployments in difficult conditions. The Washington changes this. Its living spaces are larger, with better lighting, improved air circulation, and advanced climate control systems. Crew members have access to private or semi-private sleeping quarters, modernized kitchens, gyms, and medical facilities that rival those of a small hospital. The psychological well-being of the crew has been treated as a priority, recognizing that a ship is only as effective as the people who serve aboard it. In terms of physical protection, the Washington is built like a fortress. Its armor is layered and smart. Yet, the Washington is not only designed to fight wars. Its technology also allows it to perform in humanitarian roles. The same desalination systems that provide fresh water for the crew can be redirected to supply entire coastal communities in the wake of a natural disaster. The medical bay can handle mass casualties, turning the ship into a floating hospital when needed. Its drone fleet can be deployed not only for reconnaissance in battle, but also for search and rescue operations, delivering supplies, or surveying disaster zones. This dual-use capability makes the Washington not just a weapon of war, but also a tool of peace, able to project power and compassion depending on the mission. Perhaps the most remarkable thing about the Washington's safety and technology package is how seamlessly it all works together. Radar, sonar, AI, lasers, missiles, and electronic warfare are not separate systems. They are nodes in a single, interconnected web. The moment a threat is detected, the Washington's combat system evaluates it, assigns the appropriate defense, and executes the action all in the span of seconds. It is a machine designed not only to survive, but to dominate in every environment, on the surface, beneath the waves, in the air, and even in cyberspace. For adversaries, this makes the Washington an incredibly daunting target. To attack it is to invite a storm of defenses that begin long before you are in range and continue until every threat is neutralized. To allies, it is a reassuring presence, a shield on the horizon, ensuring their safety. For its crew, it is a fortress that not only protects them but empowers them, giving them the confidence to sail into danger knowing they are backed by the best technology in the world. In the end, the Washington is more than a ship. It is a system, a living, breathing network of steel, sensors, power, and people. And in that system, safety and technology are not luxuries. They are the foundation upon which everything else rests. Conclusion. As the sun dips below the horizon and the sea glows with the last light of day, the silhouette of the USS Washington BB-56 cuts across the water like something out of legend. It is vast, powerful, and unmistakable, a reminder that some icons never fade, they only return stronger. The Washington represents more than steel, more than firepower, and more than the sum of its technological marvels. It is a statement. A statement that even in an age dominated by aircraft carriers, drones, and cyber warfare, the battleship reimagined, reinvented, and reborn still has a place on the oceans of the 21st century. For many, the idea of resurrecting a battleship might have once seemed like a nostalgic dream, a throwback to an era of towering guns and armor-plated giants. But the Washington is proof that innovation is not about clinging to the past. It is about taking the spirit of what once was and reshaping it for what must be. Where the battleships of yesterday relied on brute strength, the Washington fuses that heritage with precision, stealth, and intelligence. It is the old language of naval dominance translated into a new dialect, one that speaks to today's challenges and tomorrow's uncertainties. Think of what the Washington brings to the table. It is not merely a ship armed with missiles, lasers, and railguns. It is a fortress afloat, a shield for fleets, and a spear pointed at the horizon. Its layered defenses mean it can protect itself and those around it. Its advanced sensors and AI-driven systems mean it can see, understand, and respond faster than the human eye or mind could ever hope to. And its versatility means it is as useful in times of disaster relief as it is in the heat of battle. There is also something symbolic about the Washington. Naval power is not just about strategy or firepower, it is about presence. When a ship like the Washington enters a port or patrols a contested sea lane, it sends a message without a single shot being fired. It says, "We are here, we are capable, and we are ready." For allies, it is a reassuring sight. For adversaries, it is a sobering reminder that the United States still commands the oceans with unrivaled confidence. But beyond strategy, beyond politics, beyond even the hard edge of combat readiness, there is the human element. The Washington is home to thousands of sailors, engineers, and officers, men and women who dedicate their lives to ensuring that this behemoth runs with clockwork precision. Their safety, their daily routines, their shared experiences of challenge and camaraderie, all of it transforms the Washington from a machine into a living entity. The hum of its engines, the glow of its command screens, the clang of boots on its decks, these are the sounds of life at sea, and they remind us that ships are not just tools of war, but communities afloat. For top gear, we often look at cars, bikes, and machines of speed, but every so often a creation like this comes along that transcends categories. The USS Washington is not a car, not a plane, not even just a ship. It is engineering ambition made real. It is what happens when a nation decides that its legacy deserves not only to be remembered, but redefined for a new century. So, what does the Washington ultimately mean for the future of naval warfare? Perhaps it is the start of a new era, an age where the lessons of history combine with the breakthroughs of tomorrow. Or perhaps it is a singular icon, standing alone as the only one of its kind, a flagship designed not to be repeated but to remind the world what is possible. In either case, it proves that innovation is not always about smaller, faster, or cheaper. Sometimes, innovation is about going bigger, stronger, and smarter. As the Washington sails into its future missions, whether they be combat patrols, humanitarian deployments, or joint exercises with allies, one thing is certain: the oceans have not seen a ship quite like this before. It carries with it the legacy of the original USS Washington, which fought bravely in World War II, but it also carries the hopes of a generation seeking stability in a world of shifting tides. The Washington is not just a battleship. It is a bridge between past and future, between tradition and technology, between human courage and machine precision. It is a ship that tells us something about ourselves, that we are capable of imagining greatness, building it, and sending it forth into the unknown with the confidence that it will endure. And so, as we bring this journey to a close, one image lingers. A lone ship, vast and silent, cutting through the waves under the stars. The world watches. Some watch with fear, others with pride, but all with respect. The USS Washington BB-56, reborn in 2026, is more than a vessel. It is a statement carved in steel, powered by innovation, and crewed by those who believe in its mission. Whether it is remembered as the dawn of a new age of battleships or as a singular marvel of its time, the Washington has already achieved one thing: it has reminded us that the sea still inspires awe, and that humanity still dreams of building giants to master it.